All
Great.
right.
You hear me
It is
okay?
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Yes, thank you all for being here. This is Leveraging Market Stats to Boost Your Business series. We've been doing this every single month. What we do is we release our official stats, and you get to see a lot of these stats before the media does, and you get to hear the analysis. So we've been doing this program. This 2025 is our 6th year. We haven't missed a single month. And what makes it successful is the different leaders that we get on that are able to give, what's happening, their boots on the ground. And this one is a special one because we have Larry Singh, who just was our Broward Miami president, and now, just as a couple days ago, Chief of Broward and Broker Liaison. Larry, how's it going? And could you tell everybody about why you made this move and how you're looking forward to helping the members in Broward and all our counties, really?
Well, it was something that happened just by pretty much by happenstance, right? Um, and first and foremost, I'm honored to step into this role as the Miami Realtors Chief of Broward and Broker Liaison. As you know, the past few years, I've had the privilege of not just working closely with the Broward Miami professionals, but overall the Miami professionals to move uh, our initiatives forward. Um, and that experience genuinely just changed everything for me. Seeing how firsthand, how hard all the professionals worked and deeply cared about the members and our industry. When this opportunity came up, it was pretty much a no brainer for me. It was something that I knew that I could do, and the choice was clear. I wanted to take on a role where I can help our membership and our industry, um, but more specifically our members for all the different stages of their career. I felt like this was a natural next step for me, so I had the chance to bring my experience, my perspective, the energy that I bring into this, and really impact not just Broward but South Florida real estate. So I'm truly grateful for the trust that everybody has given me, and I'm ready to get to work for our members.
Yeah, we're excited. And I think our CEO put it best. We were missing a realtor brain. And so
Yeah.
now we have a realtor brain on staff as one of the Miami professionals. So that's gonna take us to a new level.
Well, I'm
Um,
hoping so. I really am. I'm hoping I can live up to the impact that you guys all always bring to the table.
Definitely, you will. You will. All right, guys. So we got a action-packed Zoom webinar here. Thank you all for being here. We're also streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So here's our agenda for today. We're going over October 2025 stats. They are being released today, and we're going to hear from Larry, and you're going to get all these tools and resources. Before I forget, like I said, every single month we are here, and next month we have the Miami YPN president, December 19th at 2 p.m. You can go ahead and register right now. I know it's getting close to the holidays, so we really appreciate you guys being here, especially today, um, as we get ready for the closer to Thanksgiving. And so a couple of housekeeping things. A lot of questions I always get, is this being recorded? Yes. Can I get this presentation? It is 69 slides on the deck. Yes, you can get it. Type in your email into the chat if you're on the Zoom or if you're on social media. Type in your email and I will write them all down and I will send you this PowerPoint so you can take your time to look it over. And so the number one website, if you could just write down one thing from this entire hour, it's this one, sfmarketintel.com. This is where we put all of our stats, all of our reports, all of our videos, infographics. We haven't clicked it over to live yet, but later this afternoon, we're going to click it over to live and you're going to see all the October 2025 stats right there, sfmarketintel.com. All right, Larry. So this is another great second consecutive great sales month for South Florida. I'm going to go over the three main counties, and then I'll ask you about Broward. So here's Miami-Dade is similarities across the three counties. Total home sales up, condo sales up. And let's go to Broward. Home sales are up and condo sales up double digits in Broward. And then here's Palm Beach County, total home sales up, condo sales up. So let's when we look at Broward, you know, so the big question is why? Why did sales jump? A lot of people could look at the mortgage rates. Mortgage rates were at 7 at the beginning of the year, now close low sixes. But Larry, as you know, you got the realtor brain. When you look at Broward specifically, or if you want to talk about Miami, but what is the state of Broward real estate, in November now as we close the year? How's it looking in your eyes?
So let's take a step back for a second, right? Every year that we're in this real estate market, we have challenges of some sort, right? Some people say that 2020 was probably one of the best years we have ever had in real estate, but there were challenges there as well. You have in 2020, there was not enough inventory, right? So people were fighting over properties, and that was a challenge that we had. 2025 is no different. There were challenges that we faced, but as a whole, the market really bounces back. And it shows that with the indicators across the board showing increasing of sales year over year. For Broward County, it's 7 and 11%. For Miami-Dade County, it's 7 and 7%. When you look at it on a month supply of inventory, across all three counties, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County, you're under 6 months, which still makes it a seller's market. But the interesting fact about all of that is it's not a seller's market where the sellers are dictating everything. You're working to a more equilibrium state where it's a stabilized market. So now it's forcing the sellers and the buyers to negotiate on both sides, which is better for everybody. So when you ask me why is it that way, it's because it's a competitive market. We saw a spike in the inventory earlier in this year, but now we're seeing the raise in demand. So it's kind of offsetting, which is stabilizing the market even more.
Yeah, I love it. Yes. Inventory was, definitely rising double digits, and we're seeing the new listings are coming down. Active inventory is coming down. So,
Correct.
excellent. All right. So let's move over to mortgage rates. Everybody wants to talk mortgage rates, and very home sales are very sensitive to mortgage rates. We started the year in 7, and now we're in the low 6.3. Um, Larry, how important, putting on your realtor brain, these lower mortgage rates could only help South Florida, right? And there is talk. I just saw a report that a prediction that the Fed might cut rates in this December at the end of December meeting. But if they do that, that only helps us even more, right?
So the short answer to your question is yes, it does. In the short term, it helps us. But think about what you said even before this. Uh, the amount of listings that are going onto the market are declining, right? So it shows that inventory is getting smaller. When you increase the demand on that, it's going to have an upward pressure to the marketplace. So I think it's more not, it's not that it's going to help, it's just going to strengthen the marketplace that we already have. When you look at it on the single family home basis, we're at 5.7% of inventory, 5.7 months of inventory over the course of all three counties. We don't want to see that dwindle down too much. We want it to be a competitive market. So in the short answer, yes, it is. And these interest rates are going to continue to help if they continue to drop. Now, why is that important? Because if you look at the properties that have been bought between 2019 and 2021, the sub 5% interest rates on their mortgages are plentiful. So you have to give them a reason to kind of participate in the marketplace. And dropping the interest rates a little bit lower will kind of help that. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think if you go sub six, it's going to ignite the real estate market again here in South Florida because there's so much pent up demand.
There you go. I love it. Ignite the market. Yes. All right. So let's talk about ultra luxury. And this is something that really sets Miami apart. We are still on pace to have the second most 10 million and up home sales, but we have a lot of slides here coming up on wealth migration. But Larry, this really speaks to the wealth migration that keeps moving here.
It does. When you look at it, this is nothing new. Look at these charts. 2020, 183, 2021, 400, 320, 200, and now you're starting to see it pick up again, right? So let's talk a little bit about why this is happening. So 2021, if we just look at this chart, $10 million in up homes, 2021 was probably the peak of where we were at, right? We saw a little bit of a pullback, but it just by 2024 it ignited again. So let's talk a little bit about what happened in 2021, 2022, 2023. 2021, 2022, 2023, you had Ken Griffin, the CEO of Citadel, moved down. You had and he moved from Chicago. You had Apple, Nvidia, BlackRock, Amazon, and SH Hotels for some of the bigger companies to come down. When Citadel moved down, when Ken Griffin moved down in 2022, they were expected by 2024, 500 of their employees to be relocated down here. Now, from their headquarters in Chicago to now, there's only 2 floors left in Chicago. Most of the people that took relocation options actually took it and relocated. So this is a huge migration because it's not just the ultra wealthy, it's the people that work for them as well are now igniting back that market. And you're seeing that happen more and more over the last few years. Because this
I
stuff
like,
does take time,
yeah.
right? You have the CEOs move first, and then you have the companies move, and then the migration does take time. So now you're starting to see the second wave of the migration where all those top level executives are starting to move down as well.
Yes, I like that. And I like that story. Only 2 floors left in Chicago of
Yeah.
Citadel. That's a great detail. All right. Okay, let's talk about, we talked about ultra luxury, but what makes Miami different from a Los Angeles, a Chicago, a New York? Well, it's our population gains, it's our international migration. Larry did a great job talking about the new companies, feeder states. We're going to get into all that. Here's a look at our population expected to rise. So no surprise, people are going to keep coming here. Larry, I wanted to show you this one here. This shouldn't be a surprise to people out there, but our international migration is off the charts. There is no other city like Miami that is able to get the world here. And Larry, you combine Miami, and Miami's #1 in the US. Broward is #5. It is just amazing how much the world loves Miami.
So it's funny you say that, right? Because when we talk about, we spend a lot of time looking at state to state migration, right? And a lot of the news cycles they talk about that state to state migration. But what they fail to realize is South Florida is a global hub now. So there's a lot of wealth that's coming in. When you look at the international migration in the state of Florida, out of the 100% of international migration, South Florida accounts for 50% of it. So it's not just the state to state migration, it's also the international. The reason for this is because we look at economic conditions in other states, right? And we look at how business friendly the state of Florida is. But we have to look at those same indicators and say, okay, well, from different countries, how is Miami beneficial to them as well? And those same things that attract people from different states also attract people from different countries. So it's just now becoming even more of a melting pot.
Definitely. Uh, Definitely, 100%. And then, so you mentioned state to state. Larry, you did a great job here mentioning all the different companies here. This is just some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to get, you mentioned state to state. And so this was a graphic that we got great data from our chief economist, Gay Crortone, and I know Gay is on this call. If you're not following her, she does an incredible job with the economic insights. You're able to get that on our website. So please take advantage of that. But these are the top feeder counties moving to Miami-Dade. And so Larry, the name of the program is Leveraging Market Stats. So
Right.
how could we help realtors take this data? How could they use this data to get more deals?
So the last time we did this together, I gave somebody a little bit of I gave the audience a little bit of insight as to what I would suggest, and that hasn't changed. When you're a Miami member, you have the ability of going into our MLS and utilizing Intermatrix. Intermatrix is a part of our MLS that gives us different states where we can utilize and kind of peek into their MLS. But what it also gives you is all the active inventory. So once you go through all the active inventory, you can sort it by who the top listing agents are. Reach out to them. Be like, look, I know, let's say New York, I'm going to go in and say New York, Georgia, whatever it is. I'm going to find who the top listing agents are. And I'm going to say, I'm going to give them a call and say, hey, you're a premier agent in your market. I am one in my market. Let's do a referral agreement. When people sell your houses, they're coming to South Florida. Don't you want to get paid for that too? Let's build a network together and reach out to those people and kind of cultivate a new relationship with not just the consumer, but with the actual listing agent. Because now you can get the referral business coming in. And then I would do it the other way as well. So if there's anybody that's moving from here to there, which is not that many, but there are some, I would say, okay, or even to a different part of the state, I would say, okay, let's look at this and see, because if a house is selling in South Florida, that means that homeowner is moving someplace, right? So I would reach out to on that side of it and try to build and cultivate that relationship as well. Listen, there are so many opportunities right now outside of just your farm area. If you look at and you know your farm area really, really well, and you know people from this state or this state is moving and migrating into there, advertise in that state as well. So now they're not just seeing you as a referral from the listing agent who's selling their house in that state, but they're also seeing you as an advertisement as well. So for a lot of us that are realtors and that have been in this real estate business for a very long time, they understand that the more time somebody sees your name and knows what you do, the easier it is to work with you.
That is excellent. Yes. And so I put it into the chat. It's miamirealtors.com/intramatrix. Like Larry
Mm-hmm.
said, you're able to go into other MLSs and see their listings, and it's all about getting more referrals.
And I'm
So
going to tell you that is a tool that you can build a whole business model just that tool. There's so many tools like that, but they're just that one tool. If you
yeah,
know that you're farming a certain area and this state and this state is there, go out there and get the other side of it. Work with them.
yeah. And Miami has more than 200 products and services. So, that's just one example of what you could use to make more deals.
Leverage your market stats.
There you go. Leverage your market stats. All right, so let's have a little bit of fun here. Global trivia. We ask this every single month, so we'll see who gets it first. We put out several global sales reports. So our annual one that we do every year will be coming out in January. That is for all global sales. So, what is the top foreign country purchasing in South Florida? If you know that the answer to that, if you could type it in, we'll see who gets it first. And then the second question is, what percentage of new construction buyers are from Latin America? This was from our first new construction global sales report that came out in July. And then, what percentage of global real estate sales happen in South Florida?
Oh man, I
So
think I gave him that one.
yeah, you did. So You guys got some help on that one, so I hope you were paying attention. Um, all right, we'll see who gets that. If you can type it into the chat. Okay, let's go into these new stats that we're releasing to the media today, this afternoon. Median sale price. Here's a look at Miami-Dade. Median sale prices are up for single family, down slightly for condos. And then here, actually, I wanted to talk about this. This is Miami-Dade Special Assessment Program. The program's currently closed, but the county's automating the process, so it's going to resume. But this is to give Miami-Dade residents loans for special assessments in condos. Larry, this is the only program in the state, Miami-Dade.
Mhm.
But wouldn't you like Broward to have it and the other counties? And how can we make that happen?
I think this is a huge program, and Miami Realtors has been a tremendous advocate of this program and helped to get this started. Um, I think that this could serve as a template for Broward County, Palm Beach County, and other places that condos are an entry point into the marketplace. For many places that we talk about in South Florida, condos are the starter home. That's your entry point into the marketplace. Whereas other places, they're a secondary home. For us, it's not that. It's the starter home for us. Your first time home buyers, those are that entry point. With this assessment program, if you are a qualifying homeowner that makes 140% or less of the average medium income, then you can qualify up to $50,000. That's huge. And because that money is used to pay any of the assessments that are there. So as a first-time home buyer, that gives you a tremendous leg up, because a house that you would not have been able to afford because of that assessment, you can now afford. Because remember, when you're buying it, you're putting down your down payment, then you have to pay an assessment. You know what I mean? This gives you it makes it more advantageous for you to buy a property and realize home ownership. That's what this is all for.
Yeah, I love it. Definitely, the condo is a starter home in South Florida. And Larry, in doing the news releases, I love this, love looking at the stats and breaking it down. But I
Mm-hmm.
was looking at 150,000 to 200,000 Miami-Dade condo sales. They increased. And so, when people say, there's not that starter home is not available, there are, and when we're making sales at that price point. So.
Correct. And that's the power of Miami Realtors, is because we're trying to inform all of our members that this is an option for their customers that are out there, which gives them another opportunity to become homeowners.
Yes. And one other thing that I just remembered, speaking with Danielle, the program is paused right now, and so they're going to restart it. But when they restart it, she was saying that
Mhm.
the loans are going to be targeted to seniors, which is actually a great idea because those are the ones that probably need it the most.
Yeah, when you're talking about our South Florida residents that are on a fixed income, that number doesn't change, right? And they may need some special assistance that can help them get into these condos as well.
Yes.
And listen, it's not just for getting into the condo. It's if you're living there and your condo gets an assessment and you're on a fixed income, how are you going to pay that $26,500 assessment?
Yes.
So this gives them that opportunity to stay within their home.
Yes. Love it. And look at that average loan amount, 26,500. All right, so let's move over. Here's Broward median sale prices. And then here's a look at Palm Beach. And then Larry, I always like showing this one. This shows median sale prices going back to 1995.
Hmm.
But you could see, you talked about at the open, you talked about the resiliency of Miami real estate, and
Which is
and
phenomenal.
it's phenomenal. And when you look at it all the way from 1995, yeah.
This honestly, when we look at these stuff, and I know you're going to get to it in another side, especially with the condo market, when we start looking at how resilient the marketplace is, because that's where we saw a lot of the spike in inventory was on the condo side, with the new rules and regulations that have been put in place by the state of Florida. But when you look at the resiliency of it, you would think that the older condos with some of these assessments would not be selling as quickly. That's not true. They are selling. You would think that everybody would be flocking to the new brand new buildings, that these condos are not having assessments, and they've just been built a year or two ago. But that's not the case, because the condos that are a little bit older, they fill that void of affordable housing for us, entry level housing. They fill that void that so many in the market don't have to depend on. But here in South Florida, we do have that. And with the programs like the assistance program for the assessments, that gives them the opportunity to take advantage of that.
Yeah. No, super interesting. When you were talking, it made me think of there was an article recently where a realtor compared older condos to classic cars and
Yeah,
how they will always be, in vogue. And a lot of those older condos the location is incredible. It's like right on the water.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
them.
And it's funny because the a lot of zoning codes and stuff like that have changed. So setbacks on if we're talking about coastal properties, right, have changed. And these older buildings are, some of them are right on the sand. They're in the best locations.
Exactly. The best locations. Yes. All right, so here's a look at Broward historical all the way back to 2009. Again, you guys will have this entire PowerPoint. If you could type in your email into the chat, I will send this to you so you have time. Here's Palm Beach, going back to 2009. Here's Larry talked about this earlier about our listings. It's still not at the historical average, so we still got, more to go.
And what's funny is we're still not at historical averages, and we're dwindling down. We're not adding listings as quickly as we were.
Yes. All right. Thank you. I'm just looking at the chat. Manuel, if you could type in your email, I will get it to you. There it is. Thank you. All right. This is another one that really sells Miami to the world. You're talking about how much you could buy with 1 million. You get so much more in Miami. Look in comparison to LA, London, Hong Kong. You get more bang for your billions, right, Larry?
Yeah. Yeah, listen, South Florida continues to be probably one of the most affordable global cities that is out there. Now, with that being said, we have a little asterisk about that. Because of that, demand, like you said, is starting to creep back up, which then creates a more competitive marketplace. So right now, yes, it is probably one of the most affordable global cities. The question then becomes, how long will it be that way? And I think that there's still a lot of opportunity there, especially in the South Florida market. But when we compare it to other global cities, but if you wait too long, it's just not going to be there because the demand is just so high.
Yeah, that's a great point. And so this study was put out by Knight Frank, the Wealth Report. We always cite it every single year, so we'll look forward 2026 when they put out the data. All right, so this is always a question here on the chat, or a lot of people ask it. Okay, so we just showed the home prices; they continue to increase. We showed that graphic going back to 1995, how it's Miami prices keep going up, up, up. Is Larry, are we going to have another 2008? How would you answer
Okay,
this?
so let's talk about that, and I think this is a really good point, because headlines in the news media, sometimes they'll say, oh, well, foreclosures jumped 100%. Well, yeah, if you had 10 foreclosures and you went to 15, that's 100% increase, right? But what's the starting number? We are at a very low percentage of foreclosures right now. So why are we at such a low percentage? Why is property value still going up? Well, I said to you earlier, I said, if you look at how many people have a sub 5 interest rate on their house that was bought in 20 prior to 2021-ish, right? Um, you're talking about, and I'm kind of just being dramatic about this. I don't know the exact number, but it's very high. I think it's right around 80% that have sub 5 right now. When you look at that, what's the incentive of moving? Right? They don't really have that incentive. So now you're taking all that inventory out of the marketplace, right? Then you couple that with demand increasing. So when you have inventory coming on, it's still selling. That's why you're seeing price increases. In 2008, you didn't see that. You saw people over leverage. This is a great slide because in 2008, you saw people over leverage with stated loan docs. You go and try to get a loan, and they'd say, "Okay, well, here is you make 150,000, right, Chris?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, okay, sign here." And then that's how you got your loan, right? It was a stated dot. With the creation of Dodd-Frank in 2010, that all went away. You weren't able to do that anymore. There were no exotic loan products that were into the marketplace. So what's happening right now is that people that are selling their house, they have equity into their house. You're not going to see that boom of foreclosures like you did in 2008 because people are not over leveraged the way they were back then. And now that they have equity in their house, the only real way to ignite the real estate market again is to give them the ability to buy at the same or a little bit higher of where they are. That's why I said to you earlier, in my opinion, I think if you go sub 6 on the interest rate, you're going to ignite that market. But then you have the flip side of it, and as demand goes up and supply goes down, those prices are going to increase. So it has to have a balance of affordability.
Yes, 100%. And then when you were talking, I wrote the news release for the October stats, and in Miami-Dade is the foreclosure rate is 2.5%, very low. But that's something that I know when I was at the NAR conference, they were talking about how nationally foreclosures are rising a little bit, and that's something that we got to keep an eye on in terms of combating the narrative.
Yeah, look at this, right? And from your stats, right? Because I just saw it on your stats right there, right? 60% are sub 4,
Yeah.
right? 70-80% is going to be sub 5, right? Or sub 6. So how do we engage that other 20 or so percent? That's how you're, and that's why I said if we're sub 6, I think we're buckle up, we're in for a ride.
Yeah, I hope we get there. We'll see what the
I
Fed.
listen, we're not far off.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be interesting to watch. All right, so closed sales. Let's see how many closed sales we have. We said at the top is another great month across the board. Total sales up, single family up, condo up, and it's interesting how the three counties really they mirror each other.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at condo sales in Broward, almost 11% when you round it up. Palm Beach, same thing across the board. Um, Excellent numbers there. But Larry, let's move on here. The name of the show is leveraging market stats. And this is one great way. I hope everybody on this call is doing it. If not, Larry, could you tell them, how they could use Market Watch on Matrix?
So when you listen, and we say this in the real estate industry all the time, the house is going to sell with somebody. Why not with you? Um, right now, a lot of our stats are backwards looking, and you say it in here, right? But you have real time data on your MLS. You have real time data. You know how many are coming onto the market. You know how many are new. You know how many are expired. You know how many are withdrawn. Honestly, we just have to kind of go back to doing the work of really leveraging and knowing what your marketplace is. And these market stats will show you who to target when you're trying to sell or when you're trying to buy, and use this to expand out your customer base. That is the best things to do it. This market watch on Matrix, any new realtor, when I ran my office, any new realtor that came in, they had to tell me what's the percentage of change. What was how many new listings came on the market, how many new listings came off the market, right? And then the difference between the two, or the percentage of it, is the percentage of change. So you know how active that market is. The more you know about your farm area, the better you're going to be as a real estate professional. Everything is at your fingertips right now. It's just up to you to take advantage of the situation.
I love it. Yes. So that's Market Watch. What about SunStats? Actually, this is a breakdown of all of them here, but IMAP, SunStats, Realtor zip codes, RPR. Um,
Okay, so there's two that I really love there,
okay.
right? Is SunStats. I used to use that and send it out to my clients all the time. SunStats is great. And then realtor zip codes, the South Florida market intel that you have, the breakdown per zip code tells you exactly what you want. And then in SunStats, you can break it down by city. So
Yes.
it gets even more micro.
Every city in Florida.
Yeah. So you know exactly what's happening. There's no reason that you, as a Miami realtor, are not the most informed person in your marketplace.
I love it. I'm actually, I am, I just did a poll. Hopefully I could go, if you guys will see it. If you guys could answer that. Your favorite Miami product and service. We'll see. Yes, thank you. Larry, what about IMAP? They say this is like one of the top products that we have.
It is,
Yeah.
because IMAP, if used correctly, it will not only give you the information that you're searching for on the property itself, right? Because it pulls from different sources. It pulls from the property appraiser's site. It pulls from all the data that you need. It gives you the zoning codes. It gives you all that, which is great. But it also will give you comparables where you can actually adjust, so you have a more accurate. And then it breaks down as price per square foot, and then uh, by the sales, the actual sales unit, right? So you know what the median sales price is, you know what the median sales per square foot is of those houses. So you can actually adjust it and use it. Then it also gives you the sales history. And my favorite part of this is that on some of the SunStats, you can actually get the owner's information. So you can actually see and farm your areas using all these tools.
That's on IMAP. You can see the owner.
Yeah, all the way at the bottom.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for doing the poll right now. RPR and IMAP are tied for the my favorite products. So that's good to know.
For me, IMAP was great for the comparable search. It was a quick way for me to kind of just look at it. And remember, I was an appraiser for a long time. And for me to tell you that I even use that for comparables, it just kind of did the work for you.
Ah, okay.
And moving into this uh, technologically advanced portion of what we do as real estate professionals, I think it's very important to win back your time. And IMAP gives you the ability to do that.
Yes. Be efficient with your time. Yes. Here's RPR, which is, surprise to me. A lot of people are using RPR, and so an example of a report that you could use.
Yep.
Sunstats is an example of what you could produce in literally minutes. Yeah, Larry did a great job of Sunstats.
And I'm going to tell
Um,
you that that's probably my favorite tool. You know why? Because it's co-branded with you.
yeah,
I love that tool. It gives you what the active inventory, you can play around with the parameters, you show what you want. It's a great tool. And if you haven't gone through it, go through it and play around with it. The best part about it is it's an infographic that's tailored and co-branded with you as a realtor on it.
yeah. And by the way, did we tell them it's free?
All of these tools are free as a Miami member. You
Yes,
need to
they're
take
all
advantage of all these tools.
exactly all 220. So here's some stats. Okay, let's get into dollar volume really quick as we're moving around. These numbers boggle my mind. October, 1.9 billion spent in Miami-Dade, 1.8 billion in Palm Beach. This talks about the power of our industry, right, Larry? It's amazing.
Listen, just take a look at this, right? People don't understand how important the real estate industry really is to not just a state GDP, but the national GDP when we talk about it, right? You're talking about what $4.5 billion of revenue that trades hands within just 3 counties of the state.
Yes.
3 counties of the state. That's it.
And by the way, it's not
Four and a
including new
half
construction.
billion,
Yeah.
probably a little bit over that. It's what, 5.25 billion on it. And these numbers
Yeah.
continue to rise.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, so that's dollar volume, months of supply. We would like for a balanced market 6 to 9 months, which is great for both sides. So less than 6 as a seller's month, more than 9 as a buyer's. Here's how you could calculate it. But again, if you type in your email into the chat, I'll give you this PowerPoint and you could take your time reading this entire thing. But here's our months of supply. We've been talking about it. Single family is in a balanced market. Condos in a buyer's market for Miami-Dade. Let's look at Broward. Um,
Seller and buyer.
Seller's market for in single family, yeah, for Broward, and then also sellers a single family in Palm Beach.
So
Um,
you want to hear something funny, Chris?
yeah.
Okay. Uh, Go back to Miami-Dade County,
Mhm.
balanced market, right? Go to Broward, seller's market. If you go to Palm Beach, it's going to be a seller's market also. If you look at South Florida as a whole, it's still a seller's market. You're at an average of 5.7 months of supply in the Tri-County area,
When
right?
you do all three, yeah.
So why am I saying that? Because you're not in a complete seller's market. You're at that cusp where it goes between a seller's market and a balanced market. And why am I pointing that out? Because as real estate professionals, we have to know that when you're at that cusp, you may not get everything you want as a buyer, but you're going to get some concessions. You may not get everything you want as a seller, but you are going to give some concessions. And understanding that is the way that we kind of navigate through our transactions. And you have to know what the market is doing in order to do that. You can't stand firm at a price that's outside of the market when you're at that almost to that equilibrium point. You have to be open to negotiation. And you, as a professional, really have to be the one to guide that conversation because they're looking at you to be the most informed person. You wouldn't go to the doctor and be like, hey, doc, let me tell you what's wrong with me, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to give you. That's not how this works. So as a professional, we have to be taking the same standpoint, right? Let me give you the advice and tell you where you should go. ultimately it's your decision. Just like when you go to the doctor, it's ultimately your decision whether you want to take the medicine or not, right? Same thing.
Yeah, that's great. And also thank you to our Miami leader, America Ramirez there. She put in the chat, a healthy, balanced market indeed. Thank you, America. So that's great. Here's how you could look at it by price bucket. Sellers, buyers market, it could differ in terms of the ranges. One thing here is the stats are 1 million and over, but I was the chief economist for Florida Realtors, Brad O'Connor. Soon in Sunstats, pretty soon, Larry, we're going to have 1 million to 2 million and 2 million to 3 million and a breakdown because most of our sales are over 1 million now. So,
Well,
uh,
if you look at just the single family side of it, right? Oh, and take a look at the condo side as well. If you look at the single family uh from 150,000 to right below 400,000, that's the least amount of inventory.
yeah.
What is that? Let's be honest. Those are your starter homes. For South Florida, those are your starter homes because you're over 400,000. I think it's 625,000 is the average sales price right now for a home.
Hmm.
So those are your starter homes. And look how small the inventory is. On the single family home side, you're looking at what? Between 1 to 4 months.
Infinitesimal, very small.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a great word, right? And if you look at it on the condo side, you'll see a little bit more inventory there. But the reality is that because there's lack of inventory on the single family home side, it's pushing them everybody over to the condo side. And it goes back to what we were saying. That's your starter home. That's your entry level point.
And that's very, very important for our market to have that.
Correct.
All right, so let's talk about hot markets. These are the markets with the lowest, Larry was just talking about it, months of supply. And so the hottest market, single family in Miami is Kendall, both sides actually for single family and condos. And then let's go to Broward. Number one is Coconut Creek for single family, Wilton Manors on the condo side. Larry, this Broward is your county. Any cities here that you'd like to talk about or?
So let's talk about it as an overview, right? Because let's just kind of talk about why these 5 cities are right around the hottest places to live. These cities all combine strong family friendly values and amenities like parks, good schools. They're also very convenient for commute. Um, they're relatively a little bit more affordable on the single family home supply versus the coastal pockets that we have on the east side. Um, in addition to on that east side of our corridor for South Florida, you have less inventory on that side. So this gives you a little bit more of choice, which keeps the buyer demand a little bit higher. But if you look at the supply side of it, is a little bit lower than what we were saying on average. So let's break it down by city. Coconut Creek, attractive suburban lifestyle that has boomed in the last couple of years. You're looking at newer single family homes. Proximity to job centers is great there. Coral Springs, higher medium single family homes, but small demand. The excuse me, but a strong demand for larger homes is there as well. Good schools, good neighborhood amenities, good parks. I lived in Coral Springs for a little while. Great place to live. Pembroke Pines, large inventory of family oriented neighborhoods, excellent schools, easy access between Miami-Dade and Broward County. You really look at the space of the home that you're going to get and proximity to in Pembroke Pines to both Miami-Dade and Broward County. I think Plantation, Plantation is centrally located right in the middle of Broward County. Good access to east and west side of the county. Not too far away from Miami-Dade and not too far away from Palm Beach County as well. Sunrise, Sunrise, Sawgrass Mills Mall, right? But it goes all the way out to the east side. So you have coastal Broward, you have strong retail, uh, pockets of new construction. There's a little bit of everything going on, but for Sunrise, it's more of the affordability that I think is standing out. So, in a nutshell, when you look at all these neighborhoods, the thing that they have in common are the family-oriented amenities that really drives that home.
Family oriented, great. And America, thank you. She wrote in the chat, Coconut Creek has been a place where buyers from New York are coming. So that's great to know. And actually, I know when you look at Miami-Dade, Coconut Grove is not in there, but I know New Yorkers love Coconut Grove
Yeah,
in Miami. So Coconut Great Creek, New Yorkers coming there. And then here's Palm Beach. We know New York loves Palm Beach. Wait until we get into the cross-market demand that I'm going to show
yeah.
you. They love Palm Beach. So let's keep it moving. Active inventory. We talked about the listings. They're not growing as large as they were at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I remember doing this webinar in January, February, and it was plus 30, plus 35. Now it's, look at Palm Beach, only plus 4.5. So,
Yeah.
um,
And if you really look at it, if you look at it overall on the graph, you'll see that where you're at an active inventory, you're on a downward trajectory.
yeah.
If you look at it, you can see the scope kind of trailing downwards. If this continues to happen, we're going to kind of push back into a seller's market.
Hmm. That's great. Okay, so let's try to wrap up some of the talking points we talked about. Active listings, we just talked about that. We talked about sub six and could reignite the market. We didn't mention that pending sales are up again in October. So when we get back together in December, don't be surprised if sales are also up. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
all right, global trivia answers. Oh no, I gave it away.
Yeah.
Did you see it? All right, the top country buying in South Florida. No, I didn't see anybody guess. But Larry, did you see it?
I saw it. I already knew the answer to it.
Argentina. The Messi effect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Argentina's number one, Colombia's number two, Canada's number three. And again, we'll be putting out the new report coming up in January.
You know what I find is very interesting, Chris, with these global reports that we do, is that it really is a toss up. These different countries moving into South Florida continue to shift year after year. I
They
remember
do.
a couple of years ago it was Canada held it for a long time. Brazil held it for a couple of years, and now it's every year or every 2 years it's shifting.
Yes, yes. Um, and yeah. But I would say definitely Argentina and Colombia have always been strong, always
Yeah. Oh
been
yeah,
in the
100%.
top
Always
three.
top
Yeah,
five.
yeah, yeah. And so here's what percentage of new construction buyers are from Latin America is 49%. When Latin American governments go left, the money goes north. This was, by the way, our most popular viral social media post. This post, believe it or not, Larry, it got 500,000 views
Oh wow.
on Instagram, which is amazing.
I
And then
believe it.
so yeah, and so here's what percentage of South Florida global real estate sales are made in South Florida. Our CEO, Teresa, this is her favorite slide in the entire global study. So you guys should remember this one. 49% happen in South Florida. Amazing number. And so we're gonna have that updated when we release the new report in January.
Yeah, so I think I gave this one away, but
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We gotta everybody should be using it in their marketing.
yeah, a
All
hundred
right.
percent.
Tools and resources. All right, we talked about SunStats. That is a free service. We didn't mention this one. We have co-branded marketing materials, top reasons to buy in Miami, Broward, Palm Beach. We want to update those, but those are there. You can put your logos. We have Miami Photify. Again, these are all free. This is a free app that you could get on your phone as part of your membership. It's essentially we loaded the app with more than 1,000 templates. So as you can see, Arlene does a great job. She just goes into the app, finds the template she likes, adds her headshot, her information, and company logo, and shares within a couple of minutes. So
And I'll give you a pro tip. You can take this if you're going to Instagram, if you're going to Facebook, whatever social media platform you use, you add some music to it, jazz it up a little bit, and you're good to go. Not only that, you can also pick the ones that you want and you can schedule it right from the Photify app to post for you.
yeah.
Pro tip.
Yeah, and what song do you recommend? I recommend Will Smith, Welcome to Miami.
It depends on the stat, right? I would say it depends on the stat.
I like it. Okay, comprehensive market reports. This is when you go to sfmarketintel.com later this afternoon, we're gonna hit the button and you will get October. You'll be seeing that.
And just another pro tip for you, when you use some of these reports, you could add it into your listing presentations. You can add it into all your marketing material for you to have out there to solidify you as the expert in the marketplace.
Yes. So we're doing infographics, we're doing videos. You're gonna see them on our social media. Larry, you mentioned this one, our zip code and city quarterly reports.
I love these.
Those are on right now at sfmarketintel.com. And actually, there was a leader who talked about, I want to get it every single month. So actually, I should update this because it's not just quarterly. We have it monthly because
Mhm.
our chief economist is getting that and it's on sfmarketintel.com. So monthly and quarterly.
Listen, if you have not gone to Gaze stats and reports, you as a real estate professional really do need to check that out. I am a huge fan of Gaze and the work that the body of work that she's been able to put out for us as professionals. It's just so informative.
Oh, yes. And I'm looking at the chat. Gay, she writes, our November new construction report, she's correct, shows 52% are global buyers. Thank you, Gay. And Gay also says, thank you, Larry. Uh, and America, I appreciate the microphone and the song emojis. Okay, so we have RPR. It's free. We hope you guys are using that. And then so here's our trainers. If you have any questions on Photify or SunStats or anything, they put on classes um, all the time here. And so the
Yep,
best way I would say is the email. If you had any questions, you could write down that email. All right, Larry. So this is the one about cross-market demand. This is what markets are looking at uh, Miami listings. No surprise. Look at all the New Yorks. But best way is how you talking about. We got to build connections with realtors in these counties, right?
absolutely. Listen, the work is already done for you. South Florida market stats will give you the cross market demand. Correct, Chris?
Yes.
Okay, so the work is already done. You don't have to go out there and search what what markets feed our South Florida market. Right there, 10. Just go through it and start calling people and build your network. You know, there's this old saying, you show me your network, I'll show you your net worth.
Ah, yes, I've heard that. Yeah, I love that.
And that's what this is. I've watched realtors over my years build a whole business just on a referral network. We
Yes.
don't want to keep going out there and sourcing. We want we want to be the source. So take some advice, guys. Start picking up the phone, going to Intramatrix, finding out who is the active players in those marketplaces. Start making those calls and start building your network.
Yes. Manuel Gallardo on the chat says only facts. Only facts, Larry. And here's a look at Broward County. America, great point about how New York buyers are moving to Coconut Creek. New
Hmm.
York, number one for Broward. And then you also have Queens County, Kings County, Nassau County. But take a look at Palm Beach. You got New York County, Suffolk County, Nassau, but that's New Jersey. But yeah, just amazing how it's the counties that are high taxed and high density that are trying to move out, right?
So I'm going to tell you, Chris, I'll be honest with you. Yes, New York is leading the way, right? But if I was in our members' position right now, to be quite honest with you, I would go after Cook County and I would go after Lunenville in Virginia, that Arlington, Virginia. I would go after those. I wouldn't go after number one. I would go after like three, four, Fulton County,
Ah,
Georgia. I'd be calling all the realtors there.
yeah, you make a great point. If you look at the three, DC is number two, Chicago's three for each of them. Yeah, DC and Chicago. Excellent. All right. Larry, it's 3:01 p.m. Thank you so much, Larry. I know this is your first week on the job, and we put you right into the fire. And you did a great job. Larry, any final words, any takeaways you want to tell the realtors on the call and also on social media?
So what I would tell you as a real estate professional, your job is extremely important. You're putting people and families into homes. Um, be the best that you can be on it at it, and use the tools and services to make yourself even better. Um, we as professionals here at Miami Realtors are always here to help you, whatever it is that you need. Reach out to us if you have any questions.
Definitely. And there's Larry's new email, Larry at MiamiRead.com. So you have his email. And then here's my information, Chris at MiamiRead.com. I'm going to be sending you the PowerPoint later this afternoon. Here's our social media. But hey, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being on the call and on social media. Larry, you're awesome again. Thank you so much, and looking forward to working with you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great afternoon.